Neal, that was breathless stuff. You must be exhausted, mate.
Yeah, I thought, you never know what to expect. You do your homework on the opposition, but I thought 5 games in 2 weeks for both teams. I thought, it would be a game where fatigue would kick in at some point, and the way that game went, it was relentless from the first minute. I mean, the tempo they played at meant we had to match it, and I thought all through the game it was, with penalties, with goals disallowed, with whatnot, I thought it was a really good advert for the league.
Yeah, it really was, and like you say, it was sort of intense from the referee's very first whistle. We might as well start at the top then. You get an early goal 3 minutes into it. Can you talk us through that goal and how pleased you were with the speed and the accuracy of the counter-attack?
Yeah, of course. We try and pass out from the back when we can, but you've also got to be able to catch teams on the break in this league, and Ozzy does great, gets down the line, does great, and then, doesn't try and cross it, picks out the player on the edge, and it's a great finish with his weak foot. And like you say, when you've got Christian, Wes and Kyle scoring the goals like they are up there, it helps the team.
Did you fear that when Mitchell Rose missed the penalty that it might come back and bite you on the backside?
Yeah, I think 2-0 makes a big difference. I think it just settles the nerves a little bit. 1-0's dangerous. And, when you look at it, they're good at what they do. And I think today when you watch them play, you can see why they're at the top. And we knew that when we played. And I knew we was going to have to defend our box brilliantly. And we did to a degree because the goals come from a shot, that's come out from around the edge. And I thought the way we put our bodies on the line in our box was outstanding.
What a weapon that throw is of Chris Bush. I'd love to know how far he can throw it if he's just trying to see. I mean, it's almost circus-like how long he can throw it. You must be incredibly impressed and proud of how your team stood up to that. And, I mean, I don't think you've probably had more balls in your box this season than that today.
Yeah, we talked about Solihull when we played them, that they like to try and get 100 balls in your box and know that they'll score 1 or 2. Well, to be fair, these were better than that, and credit to them because they had a game plan without the ball. They condensed the middle of the pitch. We couldn't get our wide men in any space, and when we played them at their place, we controlled the game by and large. Today, it wasn't, we was never going to be able to control the game, and they worked at such an intensity for the 5th game in 2 weeks, and we had to try and play a bit longer. We had to try and get in behind a bit quicker, and then we couldn't get the second balls at times, so it became a struggle, and I think today was certainly substance and grit over style.
Did you, in some ways, kind of almost had to adopt the mentality of the away team to an extent?
I think we just had to not play into their hands, and we want to play out from the back. We don't want to, at the first sign of pressure, say, all right, go long, but we also knew that we had to territorially get in their half and try and play from there. So we tried to get the balance right, and as always, it's never easy, but you can see why they've scored so many goals in the league this season. They ask so many questions of you, in behind you. They keep putting it in there, they keep running in there, they keep backing the play up. They're relentless at it. And then when they do get in them areas, they put that ball in your box at every opportunity. And, players can get stick sometimes for various reasons. But today, if you're going to take anything from this as a manager or a fan, the way we defended our box, the way we put our heads on things and blocked things around the box was sensational.
Seriously, you already used the word grit in that performance today. Just how far will that sort of grit take you in this league, mixed with obviously other things?
Yeah, every game's different. Maidenhead, we cut through them early on in the first half and then had to see the game out. Today wasn't that sort of performance. As much as I'd like to have some swashbuckling football and control games, today we had to dig in, we had to do the stuff after that you need to do to win a game of football, particularly against Bromley after 5 games, like I said, in 2 weeks, and that's a great advert for the league. It was relentless from the first minute.
How are the players doing? They must be feeling it.
I think they are. I've given them an extra day off, so they've got Monday off, so they can have a breather now, and everybody just stay away from the place. I think we're sick of the sight of each other. We've seen so many.
But enough about us.
Yeah, no, we've seen each other so much, so we're just everyone have a breather, and then obviously we've got the diversion of the cup next week, and hopefully we can get some bodies back. Not some of the long-term ones, but certainly some of the ones that have missed the last few weeks.
I asked you about the relief of almost getting to the end of that busy festive fixture list at Maidenhead a few days ago. Now you are at the end of it, and you've taken 13 points out of 15 available. That must have exceeded your target, right? You wouldn't tell us what it was.
I'll tell you now. We set a target of 1.8 points a game. We thought that's normally 1.6, 1.65 is playoff form.
I'm doing the maths.
Yeah, I know. So we set a target of 9 points from the 5 games. 1.8 points is over is over and above playoff form. And we thought that would at least, worst case, keep us in touch with it, because it's better than playoff form, so everybody else has got to match it. So to get 13 instead of 9, as you can do the math, 13 instead of 9, that's over 2 points a game.
It's at least 4, right?
Yeah, it's over 2 points a game, and that's put us right in the mix.
With all of that being said, then are you welcoming of the break now for the FA Trophy, or would you rather it was league games at this purple patch point?
I don't really know. I haven't even thought that much. I just, it gives us a chance to, get on the training field again. We haven't really been able to do that, and hopefully get 1 or 2 closer to fitness. And if we can get the Regans, the Jims, the Bens back and whatnot, then we'll be very happy.
Bit of housekeeping before I let you go. The reason for Brindley starting today instead of Dion Kelly-Evans, was that tactical, or is there an injury?
No. Dion was a red flag. He was probably a red flag in the last game at Maidenhead. He'd gone from not playing a lot to playing in a short space of time, and particularly 3 games. His thighs are very tight. His body generally, Marco, the physio, said, if you could rest Dion, he's getting close to, raising his chances of getting an injury. And Brins luckily was back fit and well and up for the game, so we used it as an opportunity to make sure we didn't injure Dion.
Anything more you can tell us on the Kyle Wootton situation that came to light yesterday?
No, not really. Like I said before, we've done our bit. We've put a very, very good offer to him. We've offered Scunthorpe and agreed to deal with them, so we was well ahead of the curve. But if we can't get it over the line, I don't know what will happen if we can't. But if we can't, both the owners, myself, and the staff, we were proactive and we busted our what's its names to try and get this done.
Okay, thanks for your time, mate.
Thank you.
Neal, just over the performances over Christmas, is the most pleasing thing with the manner of which you've showed how you can win games? You've had to do it every way, haven't you? You've played cutting football, you've had to show grit and determination.
Yeah, absolutely. There's more than one way to win a game of football, as we know. But if we go back to our sticky spell, so to speak, which we refer to, we were leaking goals. And we knew we had to cut that out. So to score the amount of goals that we have scored over the Christmas period, but to have the 3 clean sheets, I think we conceded 3 goals in 5 games. And today, if you saw the boys putting their body on the line from set pieces, from crosses, if ever a team's going to score a set piece against you, it's these lot. And we defended that brilliantly. So they're the most pleasing things, because as much as I always say you want goals in your team, which we know we've got. Clean sheets and good defending keeps you in games, and that's probably what's got us the points.
I saw you speak to the Bromley manager right after the full-time whistle. What did you say to him?
I just told him that I know he didn't need me to tell him, but they're a really, really good team, really well organised, really well drilled. They work their socks off, and they're one of the best teams we played here, as far as making us have to hang on our own turf. And I think it's nice. We work hard as managers. We don't always get praise and compliments, so sometimes it's the right thing to do, and he didn't need me to tell him, but it was important I did.
I mean, they are with Barrow, along with Barrow, they're probably the best team that's come here, aren't they?
Absolutely. Like I say, it was a different game. I thought we controlled it at their place, but today we had to hang on, and I'm not going to apologise for us not having most of the play and not being swashbuckling or nice football. Today we showed everything the working man would like: bodies on the line, effort, energy, tempo, grit, togetherness, and we came out on the right side because of it.
What was the most pleasing aspect of the performance for you today? Was it just that, the grit and determination?
The way we defended our box. It's when somebody puts, when a team puts 50 balls in your box over the course of a game, which they did with quality and loads of bodies arriving on the end of them, you have to be foot perfect in your box. You have to put your bodies on the line, and I think the way we defended our box today was outstanding.
You have got the trophy next week. Will you take that as an opportunity to rest some key players, do you think? If you can do it.
At the moment, we might not have that luxury. Doyley and Rosie, Connell and Alex, they've played all the games. Carl Walton, they started every game. And at the moment, with injuries and whatnot, we have to look at whether we can rotate, because we want to win. We want to win the game. We want to, carry on the good form. So the players who are on the fringes, who maybe haven't played all the games, they've got to train well, and they've got to say, look, I want to play in this game. Look at me in training, and if they do that, then we'll consider it Thursday, Friday next week.
How close are you to getting players back? Is there anybody who's on the verge of a return?
I'd like to think, obviously, Dion today, he was fine, that was rested. Shilty is another one. We've got to remember, potentially, we've got the Fylde game on the Tuesday after the cup game. So we have to try and get the balance right of making sure that we prioritise the Fylde game, but we want to win the cup game too.
Just a word on Mitch Rose. I think he told us after the Halifax game he never missed a penalty in his entire career.
Yeah, I think him and Deno are good at them, but like I say, the size of their keeper, he certainly filled the goal. But it's one of them things, no one misses, and Enzo could have got him out of the mess by putting the rebound in, but didn't. But as a team, we stuck with it. We got through that and their equaliser and managed to hang on in there and win the game. Connell's done great from the set piece, great ball in by Doyley.
Just on Kyle Wootton, I mean, how quickly would you like a resolution to it? I mean, have you set yourself a deadline or?
Again, it's out of my hands. I'd like him to say yes, obviously, absolutely. And if we're not going to keep him, if something happens and somebody else, or he's got his eyes somewhere else, then obviously we need to know that, because we need to move on and try and replace. But one way or the other, I'd like Kyle to be here, whether it's here for the season on loan as originally planned, or whether we can make him our player. That's my priority. If it doesn't happen, we'll move on and try and do the best we can. But I think fans need to understand that we was very, very proactive, and the owners and myself, Coxie, have been very aggressive and tried to do the best for Notts County one way or the other.
Terrific momentum going into the second half of the season now. There's always one team that bursts into the pack. Do you hope that could be you?
I think it's a long way to go. You look at so many teams. Harrogate are in unbelievable form. I know Stockport lost today, but Boreham Wood beat them. Boreham Wood are strong. We saw them here. There's so many teams you look at, and think, I can't see them falling away. And I think there's probably 10 teams in and around it now that, any one of them can keep this going, and it's relentless. And we've got to keep the defending how we have done recently, and try and keep that spark and learn to win games like we have done over Christmas. When we're good, brilliant. When we're not great and with the ball, we're brilliant defensively, and that's what we've been over Christmas.